Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys have all been well. This is Ep.4 with KeyKeyTalks, and I appreciate you guys all being here. Guys, it's been a hectic 2 weeks. That's what we are going to cover in a little chatting session, but it was very eventful. There's a lot that had gone on in these last 2 weeks. And in the last episode, I did make mention. I said, you guys want to know why it was so crazy, why I had to find a new place, or why everything looks different than before, to tune into this one. And obviously, we are going to get into it and kind of break down the last couple of weeks and go over a serious question that I have for you guys. And so, lock in, leave a like, comment down below, and obviously hit that sub button. So, as mentioned before, last week was crazy. On my road trip back, I had unfortunately received some very unexpected and kind of very abrupt news that I would need to find a new place to stay for the time being. So on my way back, I was staying with Al in Kansas City. Over there, I ended up booking an Airbnb until I find a place to rent, which is this place. Airbnb was great. The host there, Peter, super great guy, super nice, very accommodating with everything I needed. My only critique, the only thing I absolutely hated, which isn't necessarily his fault, is just actually isn't his fault. Let's preface that. It's just the lack of parking. And Al's seen my truck. I have a big truck, big Dodge Ram. It's just tough to park, so looking for parking while I was there was pretty brutal. But we ended up making it work, and it was, on that day when we were trying to get everything figured out, or not necessarily on that day, it was just because of living there, I had to pretty much fire drill a place to stay. So one of the problems with finding places to rent nowadays is oftentimes they ask for a first month's rent, they ask for security deposits, sometimes they ask for last month's rent. So in the process of finding a place, I obviously needed a little more capital, just because driving across the country has its expenses. Obviously, not the cheapest thing. So when on Monday, I knew I needed to find a new place to stay. I had gone to a few different banks. I was trying to just decide, I was like, let me go take a loan out. Let me just go get everything settled and go from there, And in doing so, a lot of the banks were either closed or they're busy, or a lot of people just weren't very helpful. And I ended up going to Chase Bank. Chase Bank was great. We were able to get everything all squared away. They just didn't do personal loans, so everything that went on there, I had to put on a personal credit card, which is fine. I'll just pay it back. But the big thing with them was they didn't have access to the security code that comes on the back of most debit and credit cards. So they had an option through their app to add the card as a digital wallet, and I could use it here and there, but until I had gotten the actual physical card, there was nothing I could really do. And so I ended up applying, getting approved. Everything was good Monday. I found a place on, I think, that same day that I could move into, and I put the move-in day for Wednesday. But when I was going through the whole process and I met with the leasing agent, he kept saying Thursday. And I was like, I kind of need it Wednesday. I changed my booking on Airbnb to Wednesday, so that way, I could move in. And I got kind of reminded, and he was like, yeah, you can plan on coming on Thursday. So there was that whole little confusion right there, and it worked out perfectly because my card was supposed to get in on Wednesday. I was gonna send over the money, get the rent paid, move in. Well, my card was in Kentucky. I'm in Pennsylvania. My card is in Kentucky the night of. So, card's not in hand. Card's not anywhere close that I can maybe drive and go pick it up from a certain location. And I am stressed. I had my last day in this Airbnb. I have to move out, or get everything moved into a new apartment. And I was like, I don't know. I'm stressing a little bit. Calling the bank. There's nothing we can do if we don't have that security code. Like that. And so, I end up dropping my dog off at my wife's, and I go to work that next day. I pack everything in my truck. Is what they did. Well, in that process of putting everything in my truck, my card shows up at my work, and I get everything sent over. I get the approval. The leasing agent says, "Yeah, come on in. We'll get everything squared away, and then you can move in." So Thursday comes around. Finally move in. Don't have a bed. Don't have nothing. So, I'm kind of a little behind, but it is what it is. So, in the prior or two previous podcasts ago, I had said I was super excited to come back so I could play softball. So every Thursday is our softball games, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to play softball that week due to complications. It just wasn't happening. It wasn't in the cards, and so we had gone through all the process on Thursday, getting everything moved in, and I ran to Costco, and I picked up a bed from Costco, grabbed some sheets, grabbed a little bit of food, grabbed some necessities for the house, and I was like, cool, I got what I need. And then I will figure out picking up all my desks, everything else along the way. Well, when I was doing that, because of how much I had to pay for rent, first month's rent plus security deposit, and how much I'd spent for the bed and everything at Costco, Chase actually flagged my card and locked it and wouldn't let me use it. And so I was having a whole lot more issues with Chase in this regard because I had placed an order on Amazon to get things, but then Chase had canceled my card because of suspicious activity. Obviously, you see big amounts of charges being charged, it's gonna pop some red flags. So they were trying to review the card, but the automatic payment kept trying to go through each day, and there was just some sort of disconnect where they didn't communicate everything needed to be canceled, that they couldn't run their whole review if transactions, thinking about it logically now, yeah, it makes sense. I should have thought about that sooner. Is what it is. We got it all figured out. I was able to get the rest of my furniture. You can see we're a lot more settled in. And it's nice. This place is beautiful. I live right next to a lake. My truck is right outside my patio. I can just walk right outside. Nike and I, we go on walks every morning. It's great. It's one of my favorite things, being super close to work and also conveniently in an area a little away from the city. I'm not a big city guy. I prefer to be in the outdoors, just enjoying nature. Out here, it gives me that luxury. So it has been great. The only caveat to all of this, when I was setting up Friday, I believe it's Friday, maybe it's Saturday, I tried to have a live stream. And we went to live stream on that day. And it kept cutting out. It kept just losing internet, losing service, and nothing. So I had to call the internet provider. Places providing internet. But what ended up happening was the direct line that I have connected to my house for my internet, uh, it ends up splitting with another place up above. But they're not even using that one. It's just splitting and kind of running into a dead end. But instead of it all funneling to where there's one source, it's splitting off and not providing that full amount that we had asked for. And unfortunately, because of that, my internet hasn't been great. Unfortunately, we can't live stream for the time being. So when that is fixed, because I had somebody come on Friday, and that's what they communicated. So you see where we are. Because they came Friday, communicated that to me. Management here said that within 10 days they'll have it come fixed, which unfortunately it means I can't work from home for the time being. Right side office is 5 minutes away. It's not the end of the world. So I go into the office every day, which has been great. You know, I'm a lot more productive in the office. I get a lot done, and I've been pretty busy with a lot of projects, and so it's been nice being caught up and staying ahead of my work. You know, I enjoy the clients I'm working on and working with. It's pretty rewarding. Honestly, I feel like it's kind of nice being all settled in. One thing that I haven't done the best of that I need to start locking in, and it might result in content going down because right now we're trying to put out 3 videos a week. I really want to lock in and finish my CPA. So CPA, it's a certified public accountant. It's a series of 4 tests that you have to take, and they are brutal. They're not the easiest tests in the world, but I'm hoping to be able to study for them and take all 4 within the year so I can just be done. Just wipe my hands clean and move on, and you know, just that's it at the end of the day. And so I'm trying to take the hardest one first, which is FAR. It's based off of cost accounting, just regular day-to-day bookkeepers accounting. Then you have a tax, and then I'm going to do audit accounting, that test. That one I'm stressed out for because I struggle with audit, and then tax, and then another tax one. So I don't think the last 2, maybe 3 should be that bad, but the first one is going to be the hardest, which we can do it. We can do it. It's just going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of locking in. So, but yeah, so that's one thing that I'm goaling to start throwing into my routine coming up, and that's the one nice thing. So this week, after getting everything settled in, I obviously had a few things coming from Amazon in the mail once we got the whole Chase situation figured out. So those have just been trickling in, building different furnitures and whatnot. But the one beauty of moving in here is just creating a new daily routine. I'm big on routine. I think routines are so critical in being organized, so critical in just knowing what you want and figuring out how to get there. And so my new daily routine is I wake up around 5 in the morning. I'll wake my dog up. We'll go on a walk, and you know, in the process of taking her out, letting her go walk around, we will come back. I'll drop her off, get her fed in that meantime, and then I will go work out. So the one nice thing is this facility has a gym pretty close, so I'll warm up by just jogging over to the gym, and then obviously at the gym, depending on what day it is, I try not to lift any weights, so a lot of it's just free body, you know, which is, I think, beneficial for me. More calisthenic type workout. And then following that up, I'll come back home, usually around 7 o'clock, 6:30. I will be done with working out and everything, and then I'll try to make a breakfast in the morning and try to be into work by 7:30 to 8, which is sometimes loftier than I'm able to make it, especially when different things come up. Like Wednesday, I was able to go hang out with one of my buddies from work. We went and watched the game 3 of the NBA Finals over at his place, which, if you guys do not know, it's Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers. Great series. I think it's very undervalued and underrated based off of who you have in there. You have OKC, that is 68 win team. You play 82 games in a season, so they lost 14 of them. And then Indiana Pacers that had started the season off for the first quarter to first half of the season. They had a losing record, and they ended up winning 56 games, 52, and ended up making it to the NBA Finals as an underdog, and they've dominated getting there. And in turn, they've beat the Thunder at home in the game 1. They lost game 2. Game 3, they ended up... it was a close game until the very end. They ended up winning. And then game 4, they played on Friday, ended up losing, and ultimately tying up the series 2-2. So either way, between the two teams, I think it's super great seeing these smaller market teams with the opportunity to represent their state and their city in the NBA Finals. And I think it's just really fun. So, having that. But yeah, Wednesday, went out, watched the game. And so I unfortunately hadn't kept up on my my routine on Thursday, which is okay. I usually give myself an off day throughout the week, and so that happened. But Thursday, this last week, I was able to go play softball, which you guys know me. I've been saying it, and I was so excited for it. And I went and played softball, and fortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, I had a great time. I showed up late because traffic here is crazy. And I was about 5-10 minutes late. I think I was last in the batting lineup just because obviously you show up late. That's the consequence. Back to the boat. And it was nice though. I showed up and they're like, oh, go play wherever you want. But I chose to play in the outfield just because I'm a little more comfortable out there. And very embarrassing. My very first play, the ball gets hit to me. I tried to slide, and it was a lot shallower than I was expecting it to be, and I ended up dropping the ball. It was bad, but I did get 3 or 4 more play on it. No big deal, but just regretting that one. How embarrassing. This guy wasn't here the first game, comes in second game late, and then and on top of it all, just minor, I end up getting a big turf burn. I have to keep it covered or else it will get infected. That's been a pain the last few days to deal with because just all the skin has just been rubbed raw. So it's just exposed. I wouldn't say cartilage. I guess the under part of the skin. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's been exposed. And so that's been kind of painful to deal with and obviously less than enjoyable. So cheers. Hopefully it heals soon. But on Friday, so that happened on Saturday or on Thursday. Friday, that was the day where the internet guy came, told me he couldn't really do anything because management wouldn't let him just feed me an individual line himself. He had to get them to do it. So, had to wait for them, unfortunately, but it is what it is. That was a crazy day. So you guys can see my TV back there. I was supposed to have that exact TV, exact model, delivered on Friday. And when I put the order in, I had gotten the notification from Amazon saying, all right, there's going to be a driver that shows up anywhere from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 12 hours. Okay? Mind you, my internet's not great, so I can't work from home. So that's okay. 12 hours. I've got meetings in the morning, planned the day before. I'm like, all right, that doesn't help. And then I knew the internet guy was coming, so I had to be here for that. That didn't help because he didn't actually help me fix it, So then I get ready. I head into work. I get there around 10. Working there, and then I have a lot more meetings. Fridays is just pretty much meetings for me. And what ended up happening was I was supposed to go pick up this couch at 2 o'clock. And I picked up, there's someone behind me. I was supposed to pick it up around 2 o'clock. Just because the time frame, the lady, she said, anytime after 1. I said, okay, cool. And I ended up leaving the office right around 1 on the dot. And it was closer to just drive there. And then right as I was driving, I looked down at my phone and it's like, your Amazon order is 3 stops away. I was like, okay. It's like a soft 3 stops away. Let me run out there, come back. I text her, I say, hey, is it okay if I come? I'll get there around 1:30. She's like, I won't be here until a little after 2. I was like, oh, that might be an issue because my TV is supposed to be here. I'm like, all right, let me drive back. So I drive back home after I'm probably like 5 minutes away from the lady's house. I get here and the people that were supposed to be delivering the TV, I can see that they were X amount of stops away. Their location disappeared. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, they should be here anytime. They were 1 stop away last time I'd seen. And then out of nowhere, I get a notification probably 30 minutes later. So this is about 2:15, 2:30 at this point. It says, your order cannot be delivered. I was like, what the heck? I've been here. I am here. I was like, there's no way they came in that 10-minute span. Didn't knock on the door. Didn't nothing. Didn't give the call. I was so confused. I was like, all right. I'm trying to hit support up. I'm trying to call. Lines are busy. Lines are dead. They call tomorrow. Call in business hours. All right. So I called the next morning. They're like, it was damaged in the process. Would you like us to replace it? Yeah, let's just replace it. We can't come until Tuesday. Right? That's fine. And then I look at my account. They just refunded the money. I said, all right, I'm just going to go pick it up. There's no reason to deal with this hassle. So I ended up just going to Best Buy, picking it up. And that's when I ended up picking up some Lorcana, picked up a Magic the Gathering set. That was super fun to open. Hint, watch an upcoming video. And then I drove to an Asian market, found some loose packs of Japanese, which maybe scam, maybe Wade. But no, picked up some stuff there and then got all settled in. So officially now we are all moved in. We're all settled down and we are ready just to, get more into a routine still, more into, getting all the videos edited, uploaded, screenshot or thumbnails made, the whole works, And I will say I've had a blast getting everything already, especially this channel. I've had a blast making content in ways where I just talk. I think that's one of my strongest suits. I think it's one of the things that I take the most pride in is being able to talk and communicate. And I think this gives perspective into my life and just a different point of view for you guys, which I appreciate you guys and I enjoy you guys all watching. So I hope this is a little more on the vulnerable side, but something that you guys can appreciate, see, kind of get a glimpse into my life and to see how things are. Today is Sunday that I'm recording this. This video will drop in approximately 24 hours or so. But today is Father's Day, and I regret to say that I didn't say that to start the video off. So I apologize. Happy Father's Day. Shout out to all fathers all over the world. Thank you for all you guys do. I know a lot of the times fathers kind of fly under the radar. At least my father did, I think my father has always been one of my heroes, always been somebody I looked up to, somebody who I've always appreciated. And I don't think I've even shown him or gone out of my way enough to give him the praise and, gratitude that he's always shown me. And I know my dad's always been my number one support. He so when I was growing up, just to in a picture for you guys, my dad, he grew up in American Samoa, born in American Samoa, apologize, and then raised in Hawaii. So lived in Hawaii for a good majority of his life. Moved to California, moved to Utah, met my mom. And he's always been on the little underprivileged side. He's never had just an overwhelming amount of wealth. He's never had anything and everything at his disposal. He's had to work for a lot of it. And my dad is probably, if not the hardest working person I know. When I was a kid, I wanted to play football. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to play baseball. I wanted to do this, that, and whatnot. And my dad made sure I was able to do it. He worked 3 jobs as a kid. I know he would wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, go to work, get done with his job at 4 p.m., then go to his next job at 5 and work there till about 9. Then he'd come home, do the same thing, and then weekends, go to his other job. And so he sacrificed so much time, sacrificed so much effort just to give me everything I've wanted. He's always motivated me, encouraged me to be better than he was and put myself in a better position so I don't have to be working 3 jobs. So I don't have to rely on picking up extra shifts just to get by. And for that, I say, there's no words that I can say. I can say thank you. I can say I love you all I want. And it just isn't enough for how incredible of a sacrifice he made. And so my dad, he's always been one of my heroes. Will continue to be one of my inspirations. And I have nothing but love and appreciation for him. And one of the points to all this, showing how busy is, although I had all these things that I wanted to do as a kid, he made it a point of emphasis to never miss any of those. So if I had a baseball game, if I had a football game, if I had a basketball game, he was there. Whether he was in his work clothes, whether he was just waking up or groggy, he made it a point to be at all my events. I think I can count on my hand between when I started playing sports at the age of 6, 5, to when I quit playing in college at the age of 22. So between 16 years, I can count on a single hand how many times he's made. And they were lower level JV events. They were wrestling events that he wasn't the most knowledgeable about. But if I had something going on, he made it a point to be there. And I think that example just goes to show how incredible it is to have a father figure in your life. And to anybody that doesn't have one, I think it shows a great example of what to be and how to be when you are one yourself, if that's what you want. And again, nothing but love, nothing but gratitude to him and all the other father figures in my life that have, again, shown me enormous amounts of love and respect and kind of just guidance, mentorship throughout the way, between football coaches, between family friends, between professors, teachers, bosses. I've had a lot of people that show me great examples of fathers, especially, but just great people happen to be fathers. Not to, step on any shoes towards any mother. I do love all mothers. My mom especially. Yeah. And I have to give a big shout out to my father-in-law as well. He's been one of the most incredible people I can ever say. You know, in terms of in-laws, phenomenal. Like, can't find a better pair, honestly, between my father-in-law and mother. Big shout out to them and all the other fathers around. So happy Father's Day. Hopefully that makes up for me missing. So, and I know this episode's gotten kind of long. We are pushing the 30-minute mark, and you guys know this series in particular, no cuts, no edits, raw version comes out to you guys. So if you made it to this point, I appreciate you. This is where we have our series going. This is where we lock in and give a thought-provoking answer to a question I have for you guys. So the question that I propose to you guys is, if you were in the zombie apocalypse, how would you survive? How long would you survive? And what would you do to survive? So, I think about this a lot, and it's not my Roman Empire. We will get there. We will get to the Roman Empire one day. But I think about where or what I would do if personally a zombie apocalypse had happened, and it's so interesting to think about because it could go in X amount of ways, right? You could get the zombies like you see in World War Z, where they're scaling walls. They have superhuman speed. Or you can get the ones from like The Walking Dead that when they get in packs, they become runners. And a lot of them are just kind of mindless, meandering throughout, You could get it from Call of Duty, where some of them are being controlled by a person, aka Samantha. Let me get my bag real quick. They could start off one shot knife for first 3 rounds, and then, one bullet knife for another 2 more rounds, and then that's when you headshots only from there. Maybe you need a wonder weapon. I don't know. There's a whole lot of different versions. In this one, I don't think I will create a specific zombie for the, purposes of keeping it condensed. But think about that in your instance. But I think personally, like I said, big outdoors guys. I'm gonna be outdoors somewhere. And I think for me, I'm going to the top of the mountain. Not just like the hills that you see over here on the East Coast, but like a true mountain. I'm thinking mostly where I'm from, Utah. Look up Utah mountains. This kind of gives you a picture. But I'm going to go to one of the tops of these mountains. It's going to be cold, especially during winter time. But one great thing that I feel like is fairly common, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think zombies do great in the cold. I don't know where that comes from, but you just don't really see zombies in the cold. We'll leave out the one zombie map that they come in the snow. We'll disregard that one. But for the most part, it is you see them in normal temperatures, controlled temperature climates, not really too much in the colder. So I would say somewhere in the, higher elevation mountains is where I would go. And in doing so, that's where I would build a cabin. My biggest thing, one of my biggest goals ever is to build an off-grid cabin. I don't know where, I don't know when, but one day I will do that. And we might try to figure out how people set up different cameras all over the place, and but one day we will build an off-grid cabin. But yeah, so maybe it's during the zombie apocalypse. Who knows? But yeah, so we're building a cabin. We are going to be farming. I will try during that first initial SOS, everybody, the CBC, get out, go, go, go. You know, the panic period. I'm gonna try to stock up on as much food storage, grab as much non-perishable items, and head right on up. The ideal location is gonna be close to a river, a stream, preferably one that's a little more downhill. So the idea is year round, we're gonna keep this moving so that way it doesn't freeze. Because if it freezes, your water source goes, it's a little more tough. So step one, or I guess whatever step that is, but find a river. One of the things that I'd like to build is like a electric generator from the river. You know, like those old, you know what I think of in particular. And I don't know if this is rooted in the anime, but in Pewter City from Pokemon, where Ash fights Brock, I feel like there is like one of those wheel. I can't think of the name of it. They go in the rivers and, you know, they pick up water and they just go around in circles. But they generate electricity or whatever you need them to do, whether you need them to move, whatever. Okay? We're getting off topic. But that's the one I picture in my head every time I think about what these things are called. I'm going to need to drop a picture, or I think it's just like a water. Oh, whatever. It's not that deep. But you see it in the first episode of Pokemon. Not first episode, just when Ash goes to fight Brock. I'm like 90% sure. I could be just speaking out of nowhere. But anyway, I would want to build one of those, you know, have a place for camping. I would try to build a greenhouse as soon as I could, just so when winter hits, I will have sustained food source. I would try to gather some animals on the way. That's essentially it. We're going to build a little fortress wall around, so if you do get any stragglers coming up the mountain, you know, easy pickings. You're not too worried about it, but I feel like I could survive a pretty long time. Whether or not they could find a cure, I could probably live until they wait it out, as long as temperature stays consistent. Nothing crazy. But I don't know. That was just sort of my little idea. Let me know what you guys would do in the terms of a zombie apocalypse. Are you guys trying to stay alive? Are you guys trying to, you know, are you guys going to be down in the thick of it? You know how Glenn was a runner and he would go in and run for supplies. Like, is that you? Are you hunkering down? I will say, there was one thing I did see. Shout out Atlas Shelters on Instagram. If you guys don't know what these guys are, they make bomb shelters. I really want to get one installed in a future home, but I would like 4 of them. So that way I can connect and have like an underground house. That would be my backup option to the zombie apocalypse if I don't move all the way to the... yeah. I hope to hear your guys' answers, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this one's going to be a little bit longer, and so if you guys do stay for this long, I appreciate you guys. If not, I will always still catch you on the next video, and I do hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Here's a friendly reminder. You can do it. If somebody tells you you can't, you have it in you. If you need somebody, always reach out. You can send an email to me, send a message to me. Somebody will care about it. And you know, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes life gets hard. It's the beauty of it. Just take one step at a time. You don't try to take big bounds every single step you take. It's a little hard sometimes. So, but that's one thing I can confidently say to you. You can do it. You can do hard things. I appreciate you guys again watching. I will catch you. Cheers.